organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, Happy Labor Day. See how Iowans celebrate it.
And where exactly did Labor Day holiday come from? A little history on the way.
It's off to the races. We'll break down who's been visiting Iowa lately in this week's Political Alert.
And in sports, we have you covered with a full Iowa NIU recap.
All that and more next.
Daily Iowan TV is ready to go.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for being with us this Labor Day evening for Daily Iowan TV. I'm Jacob Esser.
And I'm Brad Maxwell. For most of us, Labor Day means friends, barbecue, and a day off work. For Uptown Bill's Coffee House, Labor Day brings a celebration of art, crafts, and hundreds of people. Earlier, I took a trip to Uptown Bill's to enjoy some of the nice weather and see what the celebration was all about.
Parents, kids, adults, it didn't matter. Uptown Bill's welcomed everyone to their 12th annual Labor Day Fair, a fair that featured around 50 vendors offering antiques, crafts, and of course, sparkling smiles.
And we've heard lots of nice comments, both from people who've been coming for a long time and from people for whom this is the first day.
First-time fairgoers experienced a beautiful day to linger through the lines of vendors. But Maggie Burns says weather does not always cooperate. In her third year attending, she's been through the best and worst of conditions.
It was really hot last year, but I think people are maybe lingering more today.
It's not just the beautiful weather. It's not just the vendors. It's the entire atmosphere that keep people coming back to Uptown Bill's. This atmosphere isn't going unnoticed. Fair organizers say this year brought a record turnout, where hundreds of different community members could share their items and their stories.
Well, it's a way to bring people together across lines that might otherwise separate them in terms of age or ability.
But for some, it can be more than just an event.
Just become kind of like part of my life. It's a great bunch of people that I work with.
And it's these stories and friendships that keep the light shining bright on Uptown Bill's Fair well into the future. Brad Maxwell, Daily Iowan TV.
Today also marked the 12th birthday of Uptown Bill's.
The Lynn County Mayor's annual Labor Day bike ride drew the largest crowd ever this morning up in Cedar Rapids, and it may have been this beautiful sunny day we had today that made it the largest crowd the Lynn County Trails Association has seen, with 400 participants that could either choose an 8-mile ride or a 2.5-mile fun ride through the city. Lynn County Trails Association President Steve Hirschner says that she was pleased with the turnout, as there's been a lot of updates to the trails.
Iowa City Police are continuing their investigation of the robbery occurring at 122 this Monday morning on the 900th block of South Gilbert Street. The victim said 2 men approached him outside Varsity Cleaners. One man hit the victim on the back of the head, though he was not seriously injured. He says the robbers demanded he hand over his wallet, keys, and cell phone. The officers found the victim's keys and cell phone, but they are still trying to identify the 2 suspects.
We all love a day off of work or classes, but we often don't know why exactly we are getting this free day. Many people around our newsroom were curious as to what exactly Labor Day is, so we figured a little history lesson would do us all some good. Labor Day originated in 1882, and it derived from the Central Labor Union to create a holiday for workers. One of the reasons it was chosen to be celebrated on the first Monday in September was to add a holiday in between the long gap of Independence Day and Thanksgiving. Since the holiday was created, the tradition has formed into the taking a last-minute vacation or enjoying summer weather with one last barbecue.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV.
Find out about the 64-year-old swimmer who just completed the first ever swim from Cuba to Florida.
But first, we'll hand it off to Daily Iowan TV's Marissa Mihalik for your weather forecast. And last week was very hot for the first week of classes. I still wonder where all that scorching heat was all summer. We'll toss it over to Marissa to find out if the weather's going to be just as hot this week. Marissa?
It won't be as hot of a week as it was last week, but we will be looking to see some pretty nice temperatures. To start off tomorrow morning, it will be 70 degrees and partly cloudy. It will clear up and get up to 77 degrees in the afternoon. And tomorrow night will be clear with a low of 64 degrees. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, Wednesday and Thursday will still be clear and hot with temperatures reaching 90 degrees. Friday will be partly cloudy with a high of 91 degrees. Saturday will reach up to 99 degrees with a 20% chance of rain. And Sunday will be a high of 88 degrees with a 20% chance of rain. So it won't be as humid as last week, but we should see some beautiful weather. That's all I have for your weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Marissa.
And President Obama wants to take military action on Syria, but he wants Congress's approval before he makes any decisions. President Obama said, quote, "We cannot accept a world where women and children and innocent civilians are gassed on a terrible scale," end quote. The Obama administration began a full press campaign yesterday for congressional approval. Secretary of State John Kerry appeared on 5 morning talk shows stating that neurotoxic chemicals had been used in the attack a few weeks ago that killed more than 1,400 civilians. Both the House and Senate are expected to vote on the strike when they return from recess after September 9th. Kerry said that he is confident that Congress will ultimately back the president's plan for military action.
Today, endurance swimmer Diana Niad completed a lifelong goal and became the first person to swim from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage. The 64-year-old swimmer completed the swim in 53 hours, and this was her 5th attempt since 1978.
And from Hawkeyes to the Pro Leagues, hear what our favorite athletes have been doing this summer with Daily Iowan TV Sports. Chelsea Brown, take it away.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. Hawkeye fans got an unwelcome dose of action on Saturday as the Huskies avenged last season's 18-17 loss to Kirk Ferentz's squad. We have Lauren Moss standing by with your post-game recap and analysis.
It's opening Saturday of the college season, and the stage has been set for 15-year head coach Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes, who welcomed last year's MAC champion and this year's Heisman candidate Jordan Lynch and the Northern Illinois Huskies to historic Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes are looking to win their 13th straight home opener, and for highlights of the game, let's throw it to Josh Bolander.
Northern Illinois first-year head coach Rod Carey and Kirk Ferentz sharing words at midfield before kickoff. Football back in Kinnick for the first time since the Black and Gold ended their season on a 6-game losing streak to Nebraska last November. We picked this one up early on. NIU already up a field goal when Heisman hopeful Jordan Lynch goes deep down the middle of the field. Tommy Lee Lewis on the other end of this one for the Huskies. 10-0 to the defending MAC champions early on. After the Iowa offense stalled on their next drive, NIU's Luke Eakes gets out into space, but Christian Kirksey's there to set the tone for the Iowa defense. The stick, the rip, and you know the rest. The big man's going the other way. 48 yards to pay dirt. Black and Gold back on track 10-7 after 1 quarter of play. First-year signal caller Jake Rudock trying to get things going for the Black and Gold in the second quarter. New quarterback, a little old-school flavor from offensive coordinator Greg Davis. The flea flicker to Jordan Cotton. 53 yards down to the NIU 12-yard line, and then it's Rudock to C.J. Fedorowicz. Iowa rolling 17-10. Huskies would respond, though. Angelo Sebastiano's fantastic grab here sets up the deep wheel route to who else? Tommy Lee Lewis, his second of the day. Things knotted back up at 17 apiece. Not for long, though. Just before the half, Rudock getting things done on the ground this time. 24-17. Hawks enter the break on top. After NIU's Matt Sims and Iowa's Mike Meyer traded second-half field goals to make the score 27-20, Lynch and the Huskies would tie the game up again. Fairy tale ending in place for Iowa's Jake Rudock. 1:30 on the clock and a game-winning drive in place until Jimmy Ward jumps the first-year QB's out route and returns it to the Iowa 30-yard line. Hawk fans heading for the exits. They know what's coming. Sims nails his 3rd field goal of the day. Huskies celebrate on the Hawks' home turf. Final score in this one, Northern Illinois 30, Iowa 27. Now let's toss it over to Alyssa Bergamini for a more in-depth look at the game.
The offseason is in the past for the Hawkeyes, and Kinnick Stadium was roaring on opening game day. While trying to escape last year's 4-8 record, the football team began their season in a crucial non-conference game against quarterback Jordan Lynch and the Huskies of Northern Illinois. With 6 returning defensive starters, James Morris led with an experienced linebacking corps alongside Anthony Hitchens and Christian Kirksey. Early in the game, defense was showing improvement with Kirksey drilling Luke Eakes in the open field, gaining a touchdown for the black and gold. But a field goal soon reverted it back to NIU's game. The trio of Hitchens, Kirksey, and Morris formed the most experienced group of linebackers in the Big Ten. And by putting the big back in the big house, star middle linebacker James Morris has higher expectations for the rest of the season.
Just execution. When we're out there, we got to execute the plays and keep them from making big plays. And when we're on offense, it's the same thing. We want to finish plays and then make big plays. And if you can do that consistently, you give yourself a good chance to win. And we didn't do a good enough job of it in the second half.
Defensively, our guys didn't pout. They got back on the field and fought and competed, and that's it was a good sign.
Despite Christian Kirksey's 52-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, 13 tackles by Anthony Hitchens, and another impressive start from senior James Morris, it wasn't enough to stop the Hawkeyes from losing their first season opener in 13 years. Wrapping up coverage at Kinnick Stadium, Alyssa Bergamini, Daily Iowan TV.
While the football team struggled on the gridiron, other Hawkeye athletic teams found success this past Labor Day weekend. The 13th ranked field hockey team started its 2013 campaign off with a bang. The Field Hawks disposed of Bucknell 3-1 in their season opener on Friday. Tracy Griesbaum's squad then blanked Lafayette College 3-0 on Sunday. The wins kept coming for the soccer team too. The Black and Gold rolling through its non-conference schedule, winning both of the matches they played in the Pacific Soccer Classic. The Hawkeyes put 2 clean sheets defeating UC Davis 1-0 Friday and Pacific 2-0 on Sunday. And finally, Sharon Dingman's volleyball crew found success at the Chanticleer Invitational with a trio of wins over the holiday weekend, defeating Wofford 3-2 on Friday and gathering wins over Youngstown State and Coastal Carolina by scores of 3-2 and 3-1 on Saturday. That's all I have for now. Tune in for tomorrow for a special Tuesday edition of The Whip Around. Back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back to Political Alert. This week we're talking about big politicians visiting Iowa. Now the saying goes, no politician ever goes to Iowa accidentally, and that's exactly what the buzz is on Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. Klobuchar is a Democrat and was the first woman to be elected to the Senate. She is rumored to have an interest in the 2016 presidential race. And I know what you're thinking. We just re-elected Obama last November, and the Iowa caucuses are a whopping 29 months away. But hey, that's how the process works now. Klobuchar was the headlining speaker in Marion, Iowa Friday night for the North Iowa Area Democrats' 10th annual Wing Ding fundraiser. She says she was there to support Iowa Congressman Bruce Braley's run for the U.S. Senate, but with a history of reaching out to the Iowa Democrats, obviously the focus is on her possible presidential dreams. But Klobuchar isn't the only possible candidate visiting Iowa lately. On the Democratic side, we've seen Howard Dean visit Iowa earlier this month, and we can expect to see Joe Biden in September. It's not quiet on the Republican side either. Texas Senator Ted Cruz, former presidential contender Rick Santorum, and reality TV star Donald Trump all spoke recently in Ames, and Cruz is already set to speak at a Republican event in October here in the state as well. So what's this all mean? Well, a lot of people, possibly going for the White House in 2016, are flocking to Iowa this early in the game. It goes to show Iowa is still an important place to be. That's a wrap for this week. Brad and Jacob, back to you.
Daily Iowan TV is the only place to see what's going to be in Tuesday morning's Daily Iowan. Tomorrow, Hamburg Inn is celebrating their 65th anniversary and giving away free lunch from noon until 2 p.m.
And a school board forum is being held tomorrow. Topics such as school closures and school growths will be brought to the table.
And you'll be able to see more of those Herky statues around Coralville, Iowa City, and the University of Iowa. In addition to the original 90 Herky statues scattered around, 75 more will be added.
And that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out tomorrow at the same time or anytime on dailyiowan.tv.com.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.